Survivor
Lincoln.
Series.
Do you see Lincoln regularly?
Sure. And we chatted a little today.
Did he mention your
He
thing?
mentioned, like, I said, do you put my name in?
Yes, he did.
Yes. So,
Did he mention that he was coming on?
he's not positive. He's on the fence because
of
of the time commitment. And not that it's a huge time commitment, but
So if you want to borrow those,
I think his point right now is he's having a really hard time.
Library today, and so was Harlan, and so was so-and-so. We're all looking for
Marcus to do
historic
anything.
fictions.
Yeah.
So
I was like, okay, so I said, we'll go to the
maybe
library
he wants to wait
some.
on
You're
that.
working on his degree now, so you've got plenty of
He's
time.
in kindergarten,
He has to do all of that.
but he
has to put
refused to
baby
do basketball,
in,
he
so
refused to do skating this
Perfect,
time.
whatever.
He didn't go to the last 3 practices and games of soccer. He didn't like it. So Jordan was like really struggling with getting him
Training gave us a
involved.
bunch
Oh,
at the end of the
yeah?
year.
So
And then we just.
I think
passed them
until
along,
Marcus
whatever.
is like on board.
I have the City Member Series.
A couple other names, I'm not sure. I know he gave you a couple names, but
Yeah.
I think
the dystopian
Hillary might be
kind
a
of
better
government.
person to
I
think
love
about.
her.
Hillary
Hillary.
Johnson,
Yeah.
who did the.
Corey?
Like Landon. really
No,
helped
like
me
she
with
did
that.
the. She helped me with the.
Oh, Hillary Johnston.
Yeah,
Got it.
Percy
Is that
Jackson.
right?
Yep.
I loved that. And
She had so her little
Yes,
kids
Landon has
are
one, has
Maya
different-
and
different-
Yeah.
so she works
They'll read
and she
Percy
works
Jackson's
at
history
Hanson.
and
Oh,
write.
they will?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I can show you.
Yeah.
You guys hear from every guy.
Probably, yeah, she
It
does
has
work
to
at,
be
I think she
something
does work at,
Exactly.
Johnston, a married
You're
name?
gonna
Yeah,
make
it was
Hillary
Malone.
Yeah.
Make it about-
Hillary Malone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's how Louis, like, it's
Yeah,
about
I
sports.
think I know. She used to work. She used to be our kids' daycare over
Yeah,
in
Yeah, and she
Portugal.
did soccer and she did basketball, so
She liked
that
that.
might be a
Yeah.
good one.
Like
And
animals.
Yeah.
and she knows
That's
everybody.
what
Like she's one of those
might-
who knows like
Might be
everybody.
good for him. I
Yeah.
don't know
And
how
we
he
could.
feels about
And we talked about like.
military.
He likes
We got
that
two open
stuff.
seats.
Yeah.
I mean, he likes like.
And eventually, this group has been pretty much. Sarah jumped in a year after it
I did
started.
it
a year ago.
A year ago, right? So 2 years.
Less than a year.
My
2
brother's
years.
kids.
So we've been doing it 3
and
years.
My
I think.
sister's kids and
Yeah.
my kids all did it together.
Couple, we've lost a couple.
And then we
Amanda,
replaced them.
Matt was on it, and Carmen aged, kind of aged out of rec, and so they want to focus on the school stuff and boosters. And Devin Varney was on initially. He went to grad school.
He's like in Virginia, yeah.
Yeah. So, and the three of us, our kids are all getting that 4th, 5th, 6th grade. So who's got kindergartners, 1st graders, 2nd graders that are still going to be involved for a few more years. And so we can start getting people integrated. And the other piece is
Yeah.
is we could look on the other end of the spectrum too, or, you know, who's empty nesters that want to look at it, maybe interest look at the other spectrum, the other end of the rec spectrum, with adult stuff, the senior citizen stuff, and bingo nights, or cricket tournaments, or, you know,
So that took
soft hops, or whatever they have to do for
Yeah,
old
we haven't had it at all.
older ones, so.
Adam came home last Sunday, it was just like.
Anyway, all right, well, we'll get going there. Lindsay's not going to be here. I assume Lincoln's not going to be here. So yeah, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. We are our formal meeting. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody know, Libby's hanging out with us tonight. She's kind of checking out what we're doing, and expressed she might be interested in participating, depending on time commitments and stuff. So I told her it's no big deal. Doesn't take any time at all. Just all fun. So,
Do you want me to take notes? Or someone else doing it? Do you want me to?
yeah, that'd be great.
So as far as time goes, I just have to pick Molly up at practice at 8. So I apologize if I have to leave early.
I would hope we're done by 8.
I'd like to be home.
Yeah, I would also.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so with that being said, let's jump right in. I didn't text it out beforehand. I just kind of jotted down some notes, real loose agenda. Basically, we try to get together at least every couple months, Jess, and do kind of a formal, so a parent or a community member wants to come in and voice some concerns, where we have a meeting on the books, and we have kind of minutes, and we try to send out a little bit of an agenda ahead of time, but we definitely try to hit like a month or so at least before the next sports athletic season starts, and kind of do turnover of how the current season going, what we're looking at for next season. And then we have occasional kind of impromptu workshops, conference calls, text chains and stuff going beyond that. So I just jotted down, like, I know it's been a while, but I don't think we've really met since fall sports really wrapped up. So anything to note from fall sports, lessons learned, things we want to think about either for next fall or for future items, really looking more towards Jake, things we need to do differently, things we need to get way out ahead of, like football helmets.
Football helmets. Football helmets. I don't think so. I didn't come really prepared to answer that question.
I know I'm tapping into it's months ago now.
Yeah. We need football helmets.
Like refurbish them or maybe?
New ones.
No.
We should recondition all the football gear. I think that's something that's supposed to be done that we've never done. I gotta figure that out. So that we should all the used equipment should be sent out, inspected and sent back to us. I think legally we're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And get with Justin and see how he does it and figure out how to do
Yeah.
it that way. It's gonna cost. I mean, it's not gonna be cheap. It's gonna be expensive.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons we raised the rates on football, and it's probably will
And how much
go up
is it gonna be?
another $10 here in a year or two.
Yeah.
Helmets, I don't know as though we have a helmet that's
We have some that Justin gave us this year.
other than the ones Justin gave us.
Yeah. And then the rest of them are pretty ancient.
Is there, I don't know anything about this, but is that something we could look to for grants towards or no?
I don't know where to look.
I've looked. So the other thing I've looked at, I have looked at a bunch of. I'm not even remember the right name, but like it's like National Football Youth Football Association or whatever. There's a bunch of them. Like NFL has a young one, and like I think I don't know, Under Armour, Rydell has like a program and stuff like that. And to be eligible for the grant, you have to be like a part of their program, like a registered entity of their program. And it seemed like a pretty big deal. Like there's all these, like all your coaches have to go through a certification and training courses, which is like a 40-hour course. And you have to send all this information in and do certain certifications and trainings. And it seemed like a lot, especially for the coach's perspective, to get part of the program. The one or two I looked at.
Okay.
So I don't know. I know the boosters are, the football boosters are they'd be willing to help. They said obviously we're doing a bunch of fundraising and stuff. We can have that be the focus of a targeted fundraiser in the spring or summer. You know, say this fundraiser is for replacement of football helmets. And we can take a few pictures of the ones we got, and it would clearly reinforce the need for football helmets and about 2 inches thick earbuds.
No, they just don't fit the kids well.
Yeah.
It'd
We
be
did.
nice.
I talked to Woody. We did make a mistake this year in having the bigger kids go first
Okay, yeah.
because it just left giant helmets for the littler kids, rather than kind of scaling up this way. So
Yeah, so I think just the gear for the football we could do different.
I think we picked up a dozen pairs of shoulder pads and a couple dozen pants this year.
We did. I think we got more. I brought a lot of pants.
Pants
Yeah,
were probably not far off.
yeah.
We could probably use another round of shoulder pads.
Definitely more shoulder pads.
Yeah.
It's just it's also expensive.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great to get a scoreboard for soccer down by the fields, right? Like just a portable one. I think we talked about that a little bit. I think that'd be a goal.
So we don't have one?
No.
Is that the-
We talked about it, we just didn't get there. Yeah.
So Elks wanted to buy 2 scoreboards.
Yeah.
And they got all the way through the process, got approved from the Elks, they did all the paperwork, and the grant people they were applying to came back and rejected it.
Darn.
They said it didn't meet the intent of the grant. It was for youth and supporting youth, and they approved the food pantry portion of their application. They approved one other portion of it, but it wasn't applicable enough to the target. So they do want to go back and, if the timing allows it, try and put something else in to support us, but the scoreboard piece didn't meet the criteria.
So do we know what the criteria is?
I can go back with Amanda Collmore. She was kind of leading it for the Elks, and they had put in for like I don't know $1,500 or something like that. So, and those scoreboards are pricey. They're a couple grand, I think, if you get kind of the wheeled in and out ones. You can get the desktop ones for $500 or $600.
Soccer's super cheap, right,
Right.
to run.
We spent money on the The goal post. The
What
goal.
about the goals? But that had been sitting in there, right?
Yeah.
That had just been accumulated over time.
Yeah.
I think. I think with registration cost season next fall, we could probably afford to buy.
Oh, just buy
buy-
it.
Yeah, I would-
Because we have new uniforms, we have new uniforms, new goals, so what else do you need besides balls?
We got balls. We got balls.
We got balls.
So, I think at least, depending on the price, at least if we want to go with like the desktop ones,
Something easy.
or tabletop ones,
When we were in Dexter, they had one that sat right on the table. That was
those are like $300 or $400. They're,
I mean, it worked.
they're not very expensive.
it worked.
So we can get 2 of those
Yeah.
if we need.
I don't know if we need
two.
two. We never had 2 games happening at once. They're both on the same fields. We only, I mean, I don't
Oh, you don't have to. Okay, all right.
We know. I mean, we
Sometimes they're
just-
back to back. We would just have
Back to back.
move it to different.
But I think they only happen once or twice. So I think one would be fun. It'd be cool to use it for field hockey too. I'd like to get some portable field hockey goals as well. Like there are some breakdown ones that you can sort of like they're collapsible. We saw some of those where we played in Newport, and they had some that like almost like our hitting nets, right? That you like hit into, like they fold up into like a bag and you can move them around. Since the high school field has moved, there's no goals down at the park. So having like a portable goal or something to set up, give us 2, like we'd be able to be easy for practicing, but also host games down there,
Yeah.
which would be cool. So I like that. I think those are like
They haven't
not
hasn't got
super
a lot
expensive.
from us. The field hockey group hasn't gotten too much from us.
But I still think that's something we could do fairly easily. And I mean, they look pretty cool. We did get a goalie gear this year, but I think getting some of the portable goals, that was another
Sure.
that I was thinking of.
So do we know for field hockey, will 5th graders be invited to play for Warsaw again, or do we not know that?
I don't know.
Will that change the programming a lot if 5th graders need to
The trick
go
is
on rec?
we just don't have anywhere else. Like, there's no like 3rd, 4th group to play with.
Right.
So like our 4th graders would have to just play in that same group with the 5th graders.
Right.
Like if they're going to play. So I don't know if it would change our programming. Because otherwise our 4th graders just don't play.
Right.
You know, and I feel bad just hosting. Like I feel like they thought before I want to play a game. You know,
Right.
so be able to set up some scrimmages and stuff for them. So it may, I mean, we may not have the dominant team when we show up. We may get stomped, but they get to play. I guess would be my take. I don't know if the 5th graders will play or not.
They only did that because of numbers for Warsaw, right?
Right.
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 But I don't know if numbers will be different next year.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't. I guess my answer is I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to provide a season for them one way or the other.
Right.
Absolutely. And I kind of missed it because we ended up on the other side. What did we do this year? We had a couple scrimmages.
So they played. Who did they play? They played 4 games. Like the older girls played in Hampton. They played in the Round Robins Hampton every Sunday afternoon. There's 4 of those. They scrimmaged with Dexter. They scrimmaged with Newport, and they scrimmaged with Dexter again. I think, right? So they had. I mean, they had.
Did they just get the crap kicked out of them every time? Or?
I don't.
Well, the last game we brought some 5th and 6th graders down to play with them.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I remember that.
And then Hamden we had we did okay. There was one time we just didn't show up, which was interesting. Like I didn't
Like figuratively or literally?
no, like literally didn't show up. Coaches were miscommunicating with each other, and neither coach had a red point and didn't show up. Yeah, so that was a bummer. But I talked to Martin, so the lady that runs it, I talked with her. We were cool, but
Yeah.
it's a round robin, so it was fairly easily. The gap was easily filled in without us, but.
That one that seems to, I haven't been at soccer much, but that seems to be a really challenging one to find a right fit and
Field hockey?
Yeah.
There's no league.
Dover has, I saw a thing on Facebook that Dover has been having like open play on Sundays and whatever. I mean, that's something maybe we want to share on the rec page. Like a lot of people from Newport and whatever, just go and play. And
Does
just
we
to
ever
get the
team
girls
up
involved.
with Newport or?
Yeah, we could. I don't know if we usually don't need to. We usually have enough girls that want to
Yeah.
play.
Why is there no league, I guess?
Well, there's no league. And it seems like the round robin seems to be it seems to be how they do it. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with field hockey, but it seems like round robins on the weekends. Like Skowhegan hosted one, Dover hosted one, Hamden hosted 4.
I mean, Dexter's big in field hockey. Newport's big in field hockey.
Right.
I don't know about anybody else, but I know those are times. So there's got to be some, like, they just do round robin.
Well, I don't know. So
That just must be their thing.
We used to have games every
Yeah.
week when the girls were little.
Yeah.
They had games every week. I don't know. I think Susie was the rec director at that time.
so
We
Could
could.
it be worth reaching out to Nancy Hughes because she ran that for quite a while? And she was
She
coach
knows, yeah.
of it for quite a while with the program. That maybe she has some insight.
as to how it works. It'd be great. I mean, so it's usually just the question. I mean, when I'm talking to Dexter, I'm asking them like, "What are you playing for games?"
Yeah, like
Right.
TJ should, should be looking out.
Well, and she did.
Because TJ ran the rec.
Well, so TJ helped, and Teresa was involved. Like she was in our group chat helping us figure out stuff, and so I asked TJ and
So that's how we got to at least.
Well, and I asked them like, "Where should we be playing?" Right? And this was the stuff they pointed us to. Right?
We could, St. Egan and Oakland, all them have it, but I think we really struggle.
Right.
I foresee Warsaw's probably going to need 5th graders again.
Yeah.
We're losing a big group of 8th graders this year. So
And it's not like there was started out with 1, and then we had 2, ended up with 2 5th graders.
right.
So,
I think when we had 1 5th grader for the rec, we should have been.
yeah.
So that was the.
All right. We got some work to go on.
So we got to figure out field hockey,
Yeah.
and I don't know the answer to it, but.
Jake, one thing that I remember leaving the season for soccer with was the breakup of the pre-K to 2. And I think you ended up having way more kids sign up than you anticipated.
Right.
And then that breakup is such a vast difference from your 2nd graders and your pre-K kids that maybe seeing what numbers are, but maybe doing like separating pre-K and K with 1 and 2, depending on
It
signups.
depends on signups. I like having with them all bucked together. We could do 4 teams to play games, right? If we didn't do that, we would have 2 teams
Right.
and they would play each other, right? But it would, the vibe would be different. I like the idea of a travel team for the 1st and 2nd graders, like a pull-out, like something like we played Corona twice. If we could do something like that for soccer, like pull out some, because some of the 1st and 2nd graders also don't have a clue. Size-wise, there's a big difference.
Did we still do the little pop-up nets and the little side field thing?
Yeah.
Was that pre-KK 1, 2
Pre-K through 2
in the little pop-ups?
in the pop-up nets. Yeah. Well, yeah, they're kind of like pop-up nets. They're metal and whatnot.
They're not like goals though. Are they?
Yeah, they're like.
Yeah, they're not. Gotcha.
PK never used to be part of rec. When did that happen?
Yeah.
I think it.
Copy and paste.
I think we
Well,
kept
Little
kind of
League-
expanding.
Little
'Cause
League.
we kept doing
is
we kept doing pre-KK 1, 2, 3, 4.
Because pre-KK, all of a sudden, it was just like, which is fine. But if you're struggling, if you have issues number-wise, that was never. It was K1, 2 was like, because I remember soccer. A lot of the problem was, and myself,
Yeah, we cheated.
I totally signed my kid up. I was
Yeah.
like, he's ready to play. He's pre-K. I'm signing him up because he's going to drive me nuts. So
Well, so maybe the solution is just to eliminate the pre-K, right?
I think you're going to have a lot of people probably sign up, and I don't want to take it away from the kids, but
Well, but
I think
we
it
ran into
definitely,
that.
or you definitely have to break it up to pre-K, K1, 2.
I don't know if pre-K kids have the attention span to do it for the most part. I don't know. Mine didn't, but mine's maybe not.
That age loves like soccer, just to run.
Yeah.
Basketball, I think, is harder,
Yeah.
Yep.
and t-ball, right? T-ball starts at
But
4.
everything we've
Well, I
had-
think even
everything
with
pre-K.
soccer, it's a lot like basketball with the pre-K and K. It's more.
Hurting
I don't
kids.
know that they're ready for games yet. They're more still working on skills, dribbling, passing, listening, not falling on top of each other.
Is it still? I'm just trying to remember when we did soccer. Is it still like you show up and there's like 4 teams of 6 or something like that? And,
No, the teams were
You
much
can-
larger.
We had 4 teams of 11.
oh, really?
Yeah, it was
It's a big group.
yeah.
So we did. It was like 4 teams with like 6 or 7 maybe,
Yeah.
and we did kind of like dribble around the circles and do some passing and in the last 15 minutes you just do game where everybody just runs back and forth after the ball. Is that kind of what we do now?
So what we did is we did practice night and game night. Right, so they do practice night and then two teams. Then Tuesday night, everybody come and practice, same time. Thursday night, everybody come. There'd be one game and one practice. Right, so two teams would play like a scrimmage, right, and then one team would practice, and then rotate around.
Yeah, so and I guess my opinion on it was in kind of looking at it and seeing how basketball and that went. I thought that format of game and practice was great, and the coaches did a good job of, okay, I'm going to put these 5 out who are my like my younger kids, not as skilled, and they'll go against your not as skilled, kind of still learning, and then I'll put the next half or the next whatever, next subbing period, we'll put our stronger kids against each other. So the teams worked really good with that.
Yeah.
I thought that more of the issue was practices. So I don't know if there's a way, because it's hard, because it's all volunteers, but having 2 coaches is really helpful because you can take the kids that are still developing and work on more of the basic skills with them and do more advanced with the older kids, which is what I did a lot with basketball, because I had Hillary to help me, but the other 3 coaches didn't have an assistant. So I saw some differences in that.
I think all the sports too is the sweet spot. Right?
So
It seems like that's the.
I think that's the key, is getting more
How many
2 helpers.
How many like 1-2s did you have, like first and second grade?
I don't remember.
Like was it probably half and half? Like you had 4 teams, 11, so that's 45 kids, 44 kids.
Something like that.
Was it probably? What if you just did the pre-KK and just had them one day a week instead of trying to do 2 nights a
This
week?
is what they do with basketball, right? And I had enough 1-2 co-ed to run 4 teams, right? So if we had enough, and
You
it's gonna go-
usually split them into 2 teams.
2 teams, it's just, yeah.
What,
2 teams playing the same team
what-
every week.
Yeah, I guess 20 kids is too much for 8 practice. I was going
20
to say,
kids.
have them all practice one night, and the second night of the week, split them into 2 teams, and they play each other. And the 2 teams can be different.
So, I mean, that's essentially what we like. So all the kids showed up for practice at the same time on Tuesday night, and we split them between 3 or 4 different coaches,
Yeah,
right? And we just put a different T-shirt on each one.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? Right? So
Yeah,
they're all
yeah.
showing up at the same time. We're just dividing them into groups, right? And they just stuck with the same group at the time, and that was their team. And then that team played the scrimmage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, sorry, I just wasn't ready for the number of registrations. Yeah, like I think that was where the late sign-ups became like wild, because I had coaches figured out.
I think that number is going to be a reliable number, though.
Yeah.
So I think it could work, but I think that trying to get the 2 volunteer coaches per team is the key, because then you can separate the groups and you can still have the 4 teams and
So
play
that-
a
yeah,
match
yeah.
based off skill for periods or halves or whatever.
Yeah. So I think, maybe it's finding the volunteers to do it. I think that's the. Basketball was pretty easy as far as.
What's the basketball thing? Similar setup? There's a pre-KK and 1-2.
Those are separated. The pre-KK, they can't dribble.
Right.
So they can't dribble, they can't make it. But they get together and they play around for an hour on Monday nights after grade. And then the 1-2 had a practice night and a game night, right? And they played 3 games.
But that model wouldn't work for soccer. You don't
It
think?
could if I had enough signups.
Even if the 1-2s just play each other, and and every other week we get a game with maybe a scrimmage.
Soccer we only had 3 teams, didn't we? That was I think soccer I only had 3 teams. That's why
Was
we
it
had
3?
it was
So,
3.
yeah, Hillary, Angie, and they were
Yeah,
3.
well, because I had my coaches figured out, set up based upon I think when I started playing for coaches there was like 19 signups. So I was like 3 teams gives me wiggle room. And then like a week before everything starts, there's like 30 more registrations.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a coach. I've already figured out, I've already ordered shirts, right? Like it's already, like we're just going to stick with the 3. We should have 4. Which so next year we'll have 4. But in basketball, I've got enough kids, 1 and 2, that we could do 4. It's just fall splits different, right? Because you've got soccer, field hockey, and football.
Yeah.
So they're all going in different directions. Some of them
All right.
like, try and sign up for everything and then pick. And cheering is in there too. Yeah.
The lesson learned. Now we've got an idea of what numbers may be like. So at least we're thinking about it for next year, how the split might be better. And I sent you a contact today. I don't know if you saw
I
it.
saw it. Yeah.
I think any of those contacts we can pick up and kind of put in our Rolodex of like I sent a contact I had from last summer. I think she ran like PAL baseball in Fairfield, and so somehow we connected up, and she wanted to set some scrimmage stuff up. So we just keep adding those to the Rolodex. We can pick up things like who do I contact for a 1-2 scrimmage with Fairfield soccer or whatever it might be, right? Especially with the park, it's easier.
Yeah, Pal School, they reached out to us for basketball. So 3-4 girls reached out and wanted to play a game.
Nice.
So, which is cool, because we reached out to them in the fall and in the spring.
Yeah, we scrimmaged in baseball last year. That was fun.
Well, and we tried to set up something for football. I called Pal for football too. Yeah, trying to set up for flag. I tried to find some stuff for flag.
Yeah.
And I was trying to, because they had a Saturday morning league, and I wanted to get our flag guys to be able to play in their league on Saturday mornings, but they weren't having it. So,
Do they
Yeah.
feel healthy?
I don't know. I might as well field hockey. I think I already put out a schedule for field hockey. Flag football was harder.
That was the flag was the other one, and I was hoping Link would be here.
Yeah.
Is it worth?
Flag football was tough too.
Flag football is hard. But we did have some games. We scrimmaged Dexter twice. We played Newport once.
I know.
We had a little round robin at the end of the season, like at the field.
If you have
Nice.
Where like they showed up. So I mean, we did have a little thing, but that'd be another thing that'd be cool to have. It'd be cool to have a play day every Saturday with all like 3 area towns, because we don't have enough kids for our own like thing. Newport doesn't have enough. Dexter doesn't have enough. So if we all showed up to a different town each week,
Yes.
just played. I don't know. I'm all about. I think because skills and drills is great, but I think playing the games is what excites them.
Yeah, have one skill and drill night during the week, and then
Right.
this round robin thing on Saturday. Whatever.
Give them something to
Yeah.
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 Well, because that's what flag was. Is it was just going to be Leanne playing football with them, which is great. But it also feels like we're not offering the same level of programming for these flag kids that we're offering for the other things.
Yeah.
So if
We
we're going to
used-
give
we
everybody
used
else
to.
a schedule, we got to give the flag kids a schedule
We,
too.
we used to because
Yeah.
we had a lot more
We
kids.
had a lot.
I mean, when we did down my MCI, there was 40 kids down there.
Yeah.
So
So when you say we used to have a lot more kids, what does that mean? Like,
I don't
where
know.
did they go?
COVID. Oh yeah, I think it was COVID.
They're not participating. It's the same in the schools.
But then Jake is saying we have 50 kids signing up for.
It's ebbs and flows. That
Yeah.
a lot of them are playing soccer and they're not doing field hockey and football.
Well, I think
Fall's
I
hard
think-
because you have so many options. You have soccer, you have cheering, you have field hockey.
Right.
As a girl, you have all those options. So, as in the winter, you have cheering, I guess. Did we do winter
I think
cheering?
we
No.
did
So we
cheering.
have basketball. That's your
Well,
only
it's,
option.
yeah. The deal with cheering was winter or fall, and I think fall became easier because I don't have like gym time.
Sure, right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in the spring they can play softball, and that's it
Yeah.
Right.
as far as rec goes. So I think it depends on the season too.
Well, and when they're little, all the parents are gung ho,
Yeah. Okay.
and then they get older, and it kind of fizzles out. And it's sad, but it does.
Okay.
And the field hockey program, the rec program, I don't think started until like this year's seniors were little.
I don't remember.
And so that was the first time we had field hockey, which seemed like a long time ago, but I don't know, it's kind of fair. I think it's fairly recent. It's not like it's
Right.
been forever in Pittsfield that field hockey existed.
The thing with field hockey too is there's been so much turnover. And it's always been kind of put on whoever is coaching it to kind of coordinate for the
Right.
most part.
Right.
And because of all the turnover, every year was like starting completely from scratch. And we had no idea who we were playing or what we were doing or what the age groups were.
Right.
I think parents got a little like turned off by it too, maybe. So
Well, when Nancy was here,
Yeah.
like
But
Nancy did
I love
run it to
Nancy.
start.
But Nancy was the first one to say, I don't want anything to do with, I can't do the youth stuff. She had it for 1 or 2 years. They practiced right after the girls got done, and that kind of dried up. She
Right.
So TJ seems a little more, but TJ's also got a lot of kids, and they're going a lot of
Right.
directions. So I've been trying to talk Becky for years into
Yeah.
running our rec program.
I think that's Melissa did a good job, but I think having a clear point on field hockey that like owns it, runs with it, and then has those connections. great.
Yeah.
Like we need a yeah.
And maybe is Melissa right? If year over year it gets more considered, right? She gets more exposure and contacts. Or
I don't know how much gas she has in the tank. She seemed pretty burnt out this season, but
It could be a lot. Yeah.
yeah.
So, okay. Well, some lessons that I definitely focus on. The older kids, that all seems to be going pretty smoothly, and for the fall stuff.
Yeah.
Older kid football, older kid soccer. Obviously, feel like so. All right. Winter sports. How did signups go? And kind of getting everybody up and running.
Good, I guess. Gym time was the challenge.
Signups went all right. So we did the cutoff, and we kind
I
of
only had a
helped.
couple reach out asking after. There was the only a couple
Did they get
reached out.
some? Did they get in?
So once you get 3rd through 6th grade, I can't add anybody once I submit rosters. So that's a clear you can't play. And then the littles, t-shirts were ordered, and as soon as we were out of t-shirts, we ran out of spots. And that's kind of where we drew the line, right? So if I can't get you a shirt, I'm not going to say yes. You know.
And nobody kind of threw up their arms, and nobody was.
No. Well, I think we were clear about the expectation, right? And it's helpful just to have people signing up by.
It really only takes that one season, I think, too. Come spring.
Yeah. Well, and I think soccer we did have a wait list because it got out of hand, and I think it's the littles where it becomes like literally half our rec programming is pre-K through 2nd grade, right? Like we have, in fact, I think we have more pre-K through 2nd grade participating than we have 3rd through 6th right now, as far as kids.
Yeah.
So it's that's the group where it becomes the most challenging because it's impossible to anticipate.
So how do we know if that age is like going to continue through as they get older, or is it always going to be that age?
It's always.
It's always
Okay.
It was 40 or 50 kids.
Because there's some grades that have a lot of involved families and athletes kind of thing,
Yeah.
and some grades don't.
And I think you definitely still have that as they get older, but it will be more like, I guess I can speak probably more from the girls' side right now, but maybe you have 7th and 8th grade girls playing field hockey versus 6. You know what I mean? It's not this huge, like we have 20 of them, but now we only have 10. So I feel like once they get older, it's only like a 2 or 3 person shift from year to year.
With the little, like you said, especially your 1st or 2nd grade, you're so excited them to get their little jersey to go out there and play soccer or whatever. And then kind of the
Right.
I think
cuteness wears off and it becomes a lot of work.
Yeah.
mentally my thought has been retention, right? Like keeping them playing.
Yeah.
Because I think if the kid gets excited about it and wants to play again, right? Like,
Yeah.
even if mom and dad are kind of apathetic, it sort of
Right.
energizes it. So the way I've been thinking, the pre-K through 2nd grade should consume an equal amount of energy as the 3rd through 6th when it comes to developing the programming and running it well.
Yep.
And that's tougher because that's not the fun one, right? It's chasing around little kids, right? Like it's just not you're not competing.
But you guys don't love doing that?
But
You guys don't love doing that?
they're great. They're fun.
Well, you
right?
burn your coaches out too that way.
Well,
honestly.
Yeah. So I think if we can do that well, I think that will help with numbers at the older level, right? As years go. Yeah.
And I heard really good things about the clinics on Sunday
Cool.
for the third is it third
It's
through
third
fifth?
through
Third
eighth.
through okay.
Yeah.
That they've been doing with the high school.
Yep.
And like the high school kids are excited to help out, and I think some of the younger kids that are participating
Yep.
really enjoy that. So I think that's a really
Those are
great
cool.
way to keep the interest and to work on those skills in a fun way. And I wonder if there could be more of that. Like when I said, like, okay, well maybe the problem is having having two people. So if maybe, and it wouldn't always work because you do have high school schedules as well and games with that. But I know because I graduated from Lawrence.
You mentioned the Fairfield
Yeah.
house stuff and coaching.
And we always had, as a varsity athlete, you always had to assist on a team.
I love it.
I think that would be a really great way for the MCI students to give back It would help the program, it would help the coaches.
Yep.
I see it being beneficial in both directions in a lot of ways. And I think that there are a number of coaches that would be receptive of that as long as it didn't take away from like games.
Like, yeah,
Like,
the
it
game.
would be the scheduling.
Yeah.
So if we could look at the game schedule though ahead of time and be like, so we're going to stay away from Tuesdays and Thursdays,
Right.
Right.
As much as
and
you
know
can
they're going to
now.
miss some
No,
Wednesdays.
some things will change, but I think that
I'd love
And
that
I
for
think-
soccer. Like
I think
Josh
Jason
to play with the high school
would
boys.
be excited
like,
about looking into that, and
We
I think
just-
the coaches would be too.
We talked about that with football, trying to get some of the players to come down and run some station, run some drills. It'd be great to have, you know, an MCI and a fact member on our committee to help facilitate something like that. One or two.
Is there still a community service
Yeah.
requirement for MCI?
No.
Oh, really?
I mean, technically,
No.
but they don't even put it on the transcript anymore. So yes, they're supposed to have. It's there, like you're supposed to have 10 hours a
Yeah.
year, but they don't withhold anything if you don't have it.
Oh,
Even if you do meet it, they're not putting it on the
Yeah, I
kids'
thought you had that.
transcripts.
okay.
Kids that are in Key Club have a required number that they're
Mhm.
supposed to meet each semester.
Yeah.
And then I am in charge of NHS, and we don't have a requirement, but
Yeah.
we do that type of stuff quite
Mhm.
often.
That, yeah, that's a great, especially if you count towards your community service and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Well, and it should, right?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you might get some kids jumping up but if it's not a requirement and it's not,
If no one's looking
I
at
can
it.
chat with
Exactly.
I can chat with the dean of academics about that.
That would be
yeah.
It's great to put
That
on
should be a good thing
resume,
to
like,
they should-
Yeah.
And I really do think Jason would promote that with his coaches too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if there, I don't know if there's a way we could frame up, like, we get some sort of certificate when you finish or something that they could put on like a college app. Would be cool. I think that's great. It would be super fun. Because they have the energy to keep up
Yeah.
with those too. Like, that's like,
I have a lot more patience than I
And you look at that, like Woody's summer camp, right?
yeah.
Those
Yeah.
kids run them, they get,
Yeah.
and they get competitive and they get excited, and it's good for them. It's a little,
Competitive.
well, yeah, and it's, hey, you guys were like this, right?
Yeah.
So, time for you to give back.
Good birth control.
It is though. Jackson get coaches.
I don't know where we are on winter sports, but the league.
Yeah.
I know you had nothing to do with it, but next year, is that going to be addressed as far as the
It
schedule?
just sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's terrible.
like something
yeah.
like one home game, and then, or like next week we have like 7 games and we don't play in any of them, or we don't play for refs.
I tried to address it this year,
Right.
and I kind of got shut down. Yeah, I mean, I think the solution is the volunteer dude schedule. I think that's the solution, right? That we say we'll do it.
Yeah.
Whether that becomes a battle with them or not. He would let me do it this year. I just didn't want to.
There was enough,
Well, I don't blame.
there's been enough
Yeah.
pushback
Right.
on Sean that
I don't. He's a nice enough guy.
he is, but he's a little controlling.
Well, I
And
think
it was, I did it, here it is, I don't want to hear any
There's no
feedback.
combo. Yeah, so if the schedule, I can see his thought process and I see it, but it doesn't work for anyone else.
So everyone else as a league, hopefully next year will.
I think everybody agrees that's
Okay. Okay.
What he tried to do was not put a lot of burden on every single town, but giving some towns basically
I don't
like
know. I feel
off
like-
weekends.
I think we have a ton of burden, right?
But it is. But like as a facility, like you're a host site this weekend. But what it ended up doing is, okay, you have 8, 5, 6 girls teams that go to Dover. 1 out of every 8 teams gets a home game that week.
So this
So if
is
you do that for 8 weeks, it's only 1 home game apiece. That
when
doesn't really
when
work.
I pushed back, his response was some of these rec departments need these games to keep their lights on, right? Because they have a gym, and I'm thinking like Harlan, right? He's got a gym that he's trying to pay for, so he wants this set up because he has a full day of games every Saturday.
Yeah, and well, I get it, right? But his teams all have 5. I did the analysis. I went through every team and how many home games away games they had.
Yeah.
His teams all have 5 and 6 home games. One of his team has like 8 home games out of the 11 games. So there's power of controlling the schedule.
Our girls got the short end of the stick for sure.
Wicked.
They have a home game tomorrow or Saturday. They're one home game.
The 3-4 girls have. Do the 3-4 girls have any home games?
Well,
This Saturday.
we had one
This Saturday is the
Scrimmage
first one.
Fairfield, and then we have one this Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they have
Or
one.
5-6 is the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
only have
they had one or two.
Two.
Yeah.
They have 2 days and 4 games.
And 3-4 boys. If we hadn't set up a bunch of scrimmages,
Yeah.
Josh was
Right.
supposed to have one, and I was supposed to have 2.
So since when, is this the first year that they've run multiple games? Like, I don't ever recall taking my kids to have 2 basketball games against teams that don't even live in that town.
I
Like,
think this is the first year.
Oh,
that's
big-
happened.
yeah.
that's what's bizarre about
Yeah.
it. Well, so this-
yeah,
Kind of.
so this
that has
was-
never happened
Right.
in my,
Well, actually,
Like you've never brought
Right,
your kids to
stand
Dover
up.
to play Charleston.
well,
right, let alone
Yeah.
2 games that are not Dover.
Which
Well,
is not
we did
problem.
that last year. We did.
But it's a problem because a game costs
Yeah.
the money, right? Like it costs the town money to function the game, and the district is paying for custodian. So if I have a Saturday of all games and one of those games is a Pittsfield, the district's paying for custodian beyond, right? We're paying officials, right? You're paying me to be there. You're paying Cody to be there, right? It's costing us money to run a thing for everybody else in the league, which just doesn't make sense.
So this is what, talking to Jake, Jake and I have had 1 or 2 conversations about this. Like a lot of spreadsheets going.
Your mug's on water.
Thanks. But the kids, I don't know about all the kids, but at least I know all the boys like doubleheaders. They love it. They think it's awesome. Because 7-minute quarters, the game goes by like that. So maybe not every weekend, but the doubleheader concept is get your bang for your buck, especially if you're howling, driving down here to play one game at 9 a.m., you know. But the key is groups of 3, right? So you take the league, and every weekend you pick 3 teams that are they're the group of 3 that weekend, and they go to one site, and A plays B, B plays C, A plays C, and so a third of the teams get a home game that weekend, and then the next weekend a different third get a home game. So you may only have 3 or 4 of your 10 games at home, but it's not 1.
But some of the towns don't have gyms.
And that's the other.
So Corinth only has a gym once. Howland only has a gym twice, right? And so those teams, if they're going to have a season, they've got to
They're
play.
gonna have to travel.
Yeah. So I think that also throws.
So that
we're
belongs
gonna
to work on
volunteer.
for next year.
What's that?
You guys can volunteer to do the schedule next year.
That's I think that's the only thing.
And we're excited.
I can
That's
see you
exciting.
are.
I'm
I'm volunteering him.
I'm
Very
gonna
excited. Very
Ben's gonna
excited.
hand it to
Yeah.
Ben. Ben's gonna do it.
Perfect. Perfect.
Very excited. Okay, so winter. Any other lessons learned for winter? I think it's going really well. Our team's having a
Ice
great
skating
time.
lessons learned.
Ice skating, that's the ice. Wrestling starts next week, right? Wrestling starts next Thursday.
Is that a rec program?
It is. It is officially a rec program. So we went back and forth about figuring out gym time and insurance. I think the easiest thing, and I don't know if Cindy's going to stick with it, right? But I said we'll make it a rec program this year because he is having trouble getting something started up,
Yep.
and it's covered under our insurance now. And I think if because the question is like running the meet, right? Like if we run the meet. If rec runs the meet, right, the finances from the meet need to come through rec,
Yeah.
right? It needs to come back here. If there's like a wrestling boosters or something
That
like
why
that,
he hasn't committed to a meet.
yeah,
It's a significant amount of work.
yeah.
And money,
so,
though.
right?
Yeah.
Because he would always say,
Yeah.
I think he'd make several
Well, and so
thousand.
the
Yeah.
question, like if there's a wrestling boosters that ran it, then the money can go right to the boosters. He'd have control over it and see where it goes. Because his concern was, I don't know where the money goes, and
Well, none of us go with the money.
that's
Right.
it,
We
right?
assume
I mean,
we-
it's like when it's rec. I mean, you don't have control over that money once that
you
money
assume it goes to the special.
Well, and that's
As a
like,
coach.
there's been a rec wrestling. Well, I don't, how long has it been rec wrestling? We did it through rec last year.
Okay, we've had rec.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been rec.
Matt Rack.
It's been Matt Rice. Mike ran it for
Or
years.
was that, did he run his own thing, or was it?
Yeah, I don't think that it was through rec. He
Yeah.
just said.
Did it?
I can talk to him tonight and ask
Well, I'd
him
be
how he did
curious
it,
to know
but I
that.
don't think like there wasn't an official sign-ups through rec.
Yeah.
All the practices were.
So it's probably doing that insurance.
He offered them.
I think he did it. Like
It was
his
Adams,
MCI,
yeah.
yeah.
And most of it was after his season was almost done, so they had a much shorter season. Because in reality, like for not rec, but little kid youth wrestling right now, it started
Last
in
month. Yeah.
early January. We're already having Saturday meets,
Yeah.
so we're kind of behind the ball in that piece of like when we're starting.
Yeah.
But it runs through the end of March. So it's a longer season than like basketball was, right? Which was 6 weeks. This is a
So-
lot longer. But I believe that it ran right through Mike.
Yep.
And he didn't do a tournament back then. It was just like, let's get on the mat, let's tumble, let's roll around, I'll teach you guys some skills. He coached it with his kids, and they don't even think he charged the kids
They
anything.
just sign up.
And then they had the opportunity to go to meets on the weekends. The parents would bring them. And then
they
they
have
kind of
to pay
coaches
for it.
still
They
how we
pay
did last
for
year.
it.
Yeah, each tournament has an entry fee. It's usually like $10 to $15. And last year that's what we did. We paid St. John, I think $20 to do it.
Yep.
Because we were buying new mats, which half of the new mats that are in Warsaw came from the Warsaw money boosters.
Yep.
Half of it came from, not half, but some of it came from MCI boosters, and some of it was donated from the Masons.
Cool.
So that's how we got those mats.
Nice.
And so there was a $20 fee help pay towards those mats.
Who
and
owns those mats?
It's a conglomerate, right? Like everybody owns a little of them.
So they stay at Warsaw,
Stay at
they're housed at
Warsaw.
Warsaw.
Okay, yeah.
The Warsaw team gets them.
Yeah.
Those will be the ones that we're using for rec. And then MCI gets to use it for their big tournament. They
Yeah.
come and grab them, bring them to MCI, and bring them back
You must ask me about the insurance piece of it. That's really
for the little kids.
And so it's
just for running. That would be the biggest.
It's officially covered under the town insurance now.
Now it is, but when Mike ran it, independent.
Well, and then last
Did
year
it
was
without insurance, or-
I asked that
But
question.
St. John came last time and sat here, and we had a conversation with him about how we would like to take it on to help him because he was
I'm
funding
totally
it.
down.
And
I
then
just- yeah.
The money just has to
It's
go
a good time.
Right,
into
and
the
then I
accounts
never
of
heard
the
from
rec.
him until now.
Well, and so it was. I don't want to. I want him to do what he wants to do because I think he's the best one to run the thing,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
If he wants to run it through rec, we'll help him do it, right? If he wants to do his own thing, he can do it. Like we'll. I think
We'll
like,
help
the
whatever
comment
we
is
can.
we're going to support whatever he wants to do.
Is he clear that the money that they
Yeah.
make from tournaments comes back to
It would
rec?
have to come. We're going to call it rec, and I'm going to do it. We're going to have thousands of dollars going around. I need to see that where the money goes. Otherwise, it's sketchy,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, it would be illegal
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and so
because otherwise it's
but-
taxable income.
Well, that was the issue.
So
though,
the
when he
issue
came.
though is not him like giving you the money. It's
No.
he wants it to go back.
He wants
to
to
the
make sure it
program.
stays in the program.
Yeah,
And
right.
so the
Which
problem-
is
yeah.
what we all want for the individual programs. So that's where we have special accounts set up
Yeah.
with the town.
But I asked that question because there was no account for wrestling, right? So anytime we run rec through the town, the registration fees. Right.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it kind of informally just kind of got, like, I know last year I did the wrestling sign up, not really even thinking, wait, is this even a rec program? So I did the sign up and gave it to him to run with. And nobody ever told Catherine to add it to the insurance or to set. So she'll set up a special account.
She already did, I think.
Yeah, so we just needed to tell her to do that. Or ask her to do that.
But if there was like I don't know, like if there was a wrestling boosters group that hosted a meet and our rec kids participated in the meet, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
Like that.
So like if
Yeah.
the high school, because the high school has a booster, has a wrestling boosters, I run it.
Oh, you do.
Well, pretty much.
So that's what I told them. And actually, I was talking with Todd Malone last night. Basketball used to be run that way, right? Like he has like $1,300 of basketball boosters money that he's been hanging on to for like 10 years.
Take it back now.
but like, I mean, it's the
Well,
money.
that's how Paul ran it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah. So okay. So if
we just need to know where.
it was still, so if they're still under rec for the insurance piece, which I
Yeah.
think is probably easier.
I think so.
The independent insurance is
Well, that
a
was
mess,
the-
right?
Yeah.
But then MCI or Warsaw, because I'm not sure if Warsaw has a boosters, but I know
I don't
they
think
have they have a team.
Right.
But either way, so if those two teams run a meet and that money goes into the MCI boosters, would that be allowable?
If
Because you
they're-
know where the
if-
money's
If
going?
they're the ones hosting the meet,
It has
and
nothing
the
to do-
volunteers helping them. Yes.
Okay.
It would have nothing to do with Pittsfield rec.
Correct.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The boosters are sponsoring a youth wrestling league in town of Pittsfield,
I think that's the way the.
and they're putting the money up to buy the supplies
The
and do
first time we
whatever.
ran the meet, because St. John was very gung ho about holding one.
Yep.
Mike used a ton of his booster money
To do
to
it.
front a lot of it. Here's money for
And that's what
ribbons
you
and
did,
the
right?
coin, like that sounds silly, but the little green and red bands you put on their legs and
Yep.
the coins, and like he bought all of that
Yep.
stuff for him from the booster. So I think that Mike is very much on like, what can I do to get that program's numbers up?
Yeah. So I think like we just got to figure out the system we're going to use.
That's
Okay.
definitely a way to do it. I don't know, like the boosters, do the boosters have insurance? Would they need to have insurance?
I guess
I don't know.
Is he not comfortable if we have an account set up for wrestling that all the signups and everything would go to? Is
so all
he
the
not
time
comfortable with
does
that?
go with that account.
It doesn't now. It hadn't in the past, and that's
Right.
where he was
Well, and I
frustrated.
think I get the frustration because the kids are paying so much money and then they're paying to go to meets, right? And so what I told them this year, right, we've got this money going into the accounts, we're going to pay for so many meets for each of the kids that signs up, right? This is, I think, the way it should work, right? I mean, because they're paying us $35. What's that $35? We're not paying for uniforms, we're not paying for gear, we're not paying
Right.
for gym time. We should be paying for meet fees, right? And so if we can just, like, that's where we get it.
But the
from
meat
that
fees
money.
are like $20, right?
Right.
Well, they're usually 10 to 15.
So we can
So I
pay
think
for
there's
3 or
a couple
4,
that are
right?
tiny, but-
We should build up a little bit of money in that account, right, for when you need new mats or you need to replace the uniform and stuff. But
Well, he wants uniforms, I think.
They
He
bought
bought them.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
great.
they're very nice.
But he had money from the meet
From
last
last
year,
year.
right? But I think that if we're going to do it, that's the way I'd like to do it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the kids don't have to pay to go to basketball games. They don't have to pay to go to soccer games.
Yeah.
They shouldn't, if they're signing up for rec wrestling, they shouldn't have to pay to go to wrestling.
Right.
Right?
Right. They used to pay for 2 tournaments for each team as well, like for basketball.
Yeah.
So it's no different, right?
Well, in essence, so I talking.
so it leads into another.
Well, I was talking with them last night where that $1,300 would be to pay for tournament fees. Like, I think he wants to know what it's going to. Same question, right? But if we pay for tournament fees for each of the teams for one tournament, $200 a pop, shakes out like $1,200, which is about it. So I think that's what I was going to approach there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair because a lot of the kids might only go to like 2 or 3 tournaments.
But what about
Some of them are really far, but then you'll have some that like Sinja's kids go
Yeah.
to every
Everywhere.
one.
They're
So
already
like
going.
15 of them, they've already been to 3.
Yeah, if you host a tournament and your kids theoretically they don't pay for their own tournament.
Yeah, he didn't not make us pay for that last time.
So
Plus all the parents had to volunteer.
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's like hosting a football Sunday. Okay, so you work with Sid Jet seems to. That sounds good to me. That approach.
Yeah. So I think that's it. We just got to figure out a plan. And I think we've got there. It's just the hosting a meet piece. We haven't sorted that out yet.
Can we assign tasks to non-committee members? Jess is going to check the mic.
I think she's going to do it anyway.
I think it's good. Basketball's gone well. The gym scheduling, as tight as it is, it's gone well. I know it's a lot of work for you, probably.
It's not bad. I feel bad.
Shouldn't feel bad.
Because
We have 2 practices a week.
I feel like I'm sending her 7 different directions every week. But
We have 2 practices a week.
great.
It's mostly one at Warsaw, one at Palmyra.
Yeah,
Some weeks it's
that's
not.
cool.
It's not bad.
Doug Colson?
Yeah.
I think he did great,
Yeah.
and Jordan really liked him, so I just want to. He did a great job as a coach.
There was some feedback that potentially next year there may be a pause with adult and gym usage from December through February. That may happen. That will free up a couple more nights a week.
Could be one. Well, I guess volleyball. Volleyball stops too.
Right. Yeah. It'll be 2 nights a week that we get a little more time.
And it's still a tough time slot 'cause it's 7 to 8.
Well,
Yeah.
it is. Because it is what it is.
Yeah. But yeah.
So until we get that new school, that gym becomes a rec gym.
Right. I think, and so Palmyra's cost us $1,200 for this season.
It's been well worth it, I think, right? I don't know what else we would do.
Right.
So, okay. Basketball tournaments, that was on my list. What's your thought there, you said?
Yeah, so I think we have, like, with that, knowing that there's that booster money there, we can pay for each of the kids to go to one tournament. The question, 5, 6 girls, easy. 3, 4 girls, easy. 3, 4 boys, 5-6 boys, we've got 2 teams, right? And I think the general consensus is to do like an all-star team, right? From those 2 teams,
We've always done it.
right?
It's a sensitive age we live in, but
Right.
everybody doesn't get a ribbon, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think my desire would like. So I think like if you, I know we talked about this, right? Like if we include 10 and exclude 4, that I'm like that's not cool, right?
All the tournaments say 8.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I would say you do 8.
Right.
It's
And
8
so-
to 12.
Yeah. And so I guess that like that selection, right? We got to sort out that coaches, and then I think figure out if the girls teams want to do it.
We put it out there last year, and we were the only group that wanted to do it.
I think
None of the other groups wanted to.
so. As a coach receiving that, I had no idea. Like, sure, tournament's great, but I didn't know any tournaments to find, and I didn't know how to find them. Right. So it wasn't like
Gotcha.
it wasn't anything like.
My bad.
Well, no, it's, it's like so I think if we can say 5-6 girls, you want to play in this tournament on such and such a date, it's a different of an invite, right? Because I think we'd be able to get 7 or 8 of them to play.
I foresee it being an issue with the 3-4 boys, just because everything's always an issue when you have 2 coaches.
Right.
Do you do tryouts for that?
Coaches select. It's always been that way.
They've been trying out all season, right? I think that's the yeah.
It was
It was an issue last year.
the only reason it was an issue last year is because it didn't get communicated that there was being an all-star team was being selected to play in an all-star tournament. The parents were never told that.
Right.
It's just they found out that a bunch of kids were going to play, and their kid wasn't involved, which was shame on all of us. We didn't communicate that well. So I think if we up front say now, right, there will be an all-star tournament at the end of the season, and
That's how we're
those guys, not every kid's contributed and had a great season, and there'll be an all-star team assembled, and you may or may not. I don't know how you say that.
I think 5-6 boys will be easy.
So are you going to say the coaches will choose the eight top players, 4 from each team, or the 8 top players?
Maybe go 4 for each team.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You won't be received well if you have
Right.
7 from one team and 1
Well,
from the
and I
other.
think the teams are fairly even.
Yeah.
So I think they're even enough that I think it works.
And just having played each other, I could already kind
How
of
are
envision.
how did you make those teams?
So I sit down with coaches and we look at the kids and we split them up.
Yeah.
And we actually moved the kid right as we started because it seemed a little imbalanced.
Yeah.
And
Like the 2, 3, 4 call, we sat right there and said, okay, listen,
Yeah.
we both need somebody that's like big and strong. Okay,
Yeah.
let's put these 2.
Well,
we both need a point guard. Right? These 2 can dribble. Let's split that.
And actually, like John and Terry, I like the way they did it. And like you guys knew the kids, but they didn't really know the kids in the same way, so they had them all come to one practice, and then they split them up after the practice, which I thought was like I think that
Smart.
works. So if you don't know the kids, right, I think that's a
The 3, 4 boys have played each other twice this year, and it's been a 1-point win by each team.
right.
Awesome.
So it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right. And the 5-6 boys.
We played against this Saturday, in case anyone was wondering.
Say what?
We played against Saturday, in case anyone was wondering. Rubber match.
So I think that's, and then they'll probably be drawn, but it's fine. Somebody will be
Your sports, there's always something.
Somebody will be drawn, but I think that's good. And I am talking with Matt at the high school. We had questions about this, so we were going back and forth. Do you know what those questions were? We're emailing, you and I. We're emailing.
What?
These tournaments, and I can't remember what I was wondering. Never mind. So I was talking to Matt Bartlett at the high school, and he wants to get the girls involved in tournaments in the offseason anyway, right? And I think this is just a good way for us to sort of piggyback and work together. So for the girls, I think he's going to play in tournaments whether Rec does it or not. And I think so. Rec up and pays for one of them. It's the same group of girls. And then for the boys, I think boys will be that'll be easy because we already have those models to go off of. I think we limit it to one tournament, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Because I think.
Do we select the tournament?
I think we select.
I think we got to call ahead and see if there are slots available.
Well, and then that was the question. So the tournaments that are available. So like, there's one in Fairfield that looks pretty good, but it's not until the first weekend in March, right? And so or the second weekend in March. So like 3 or 4 girls, it would actually be like 5 weeks after their season potentially ends. So we host like a practice night once a week, right? In addition to it's like an extension of the season. do we host? Like, how do we frame that? That I guess I haven't sorted that out.
For us, I'd run a practice night a week for all the 3-4 boys.
Yeah.
And do like skills and drills, scrimmage kind of thing.
Like all the 3-4 boys, or just like the all-star team boys? So we're like,
Well, if the season's ended and now you just have the All-Star team that's going to be playing in the tournament, I would think you would just have
you just
the
have-
If it was
All-Star
if it was
tournament.
2 weeks later, if you're running 5-6 sessions, it almost like, yeah.
so that's where
It's almost like you're running a weekly clinic.
yeah.
Like maybe you could spin it as just at least a weekly clinic that you're running every
Well,
week.
and that was
Those kids
so-
just happen to be there. And if we want to run a couple extra practices for the all-star team outside of that.
And that's where it works. Like, so the high school is running weekly clinics already. So the girls are going to
That's
have a
true.
weekly clinic through February, right? Then that's going to host, right? And they will do the same thing. He's just kind of seeing what interest looks like. So there's opportunity to piggyback on that too.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Or that could be part of it. I don't know. I guess I haven't figured that out. Just 5 weeks seems like a long time after the season ends to do a thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you make the championship weekend, it would be 4 weeks.
Right.
Afterwards, if you do take a week off and do all-star practices one night a week for 3 weeks, you're there.
Yep.
And as far as coaching goes, just figure out coach.
I think we already figured that out,
I
right?
think Terry and John will work together fine.
Right.
3-4 boys, neither one of us are going to coach.
Well, I think Tim is the guy.
We're offering Tim Steiner.
Yeah.
The
If he
coach
wants.
is the assistant coach, and he's awesome.
If he wants to.
And he played D1 college ball, so he's more
Is he the
qualified.
tall guy?
Yeah.
There's 2 tall guys.
Well, I'm pretty tall, so I'm not.
So I guess I don't really know if I have a question there. It's more just like,
Everybody good with sponsoring one tournament per each age group?
Yeah.
And that's coming from money that's floating out there.
yes, that's my plan.
I love finding free money.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also said that rec, like the hoops. Yeah, I think he said rec paid for those. Which is interesting to know that. Like the ones that the portable ones, rec bought those. The ones that drop down.
Long time ago.
Yeah. So in Victory, the hoops dropped down.
Oh, Victory.
Right? And that rec paid for those to install. I didn't know that. Nobody, they probably don't care, but.
Okay, cool. So we made it through the first 2 of 7 items. We're doing good. We'll go fast. We talked about hosting more tournaments in the future. Obviously, I think that ship has sailed to host any sort of tournaments this year. But I love the idea of just in general hosting more stuff. I know it's work on the committee. We need to get more people outside of the committee involved.
Maybe get the varsity programs to help.
Varsity programs to help, community service hours, varsity coaches, junior high coaches, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we've got a ton of great facilities, especially when it comes to like spring and fall with the park and stuff. I think a softball tournament, the Houston Championship weekend or whatever,
Yeah.
was wicked fun.
I think we should put in for that again.
And I think we could kind of do it a little bigger, right? People asked about, do you have chairs or tables to sit at and this and that? We could rent it. We could rent. Oh,
Okay.
we could rent one of those tents and just put some tables underneath the tent and keep people right at the park.
Yep.
Sit under the tent, have the food, eat a bunch of concessions.
Run 2 fields at
We made a bunch of money. I mean,
Yes.
there were 2 days we profited $1,200, and people didn't even know we were doing it until they showed up. So
1,200 from the concession.
from concessions,
So,
profit.
a good group to reach out to at NCI. We just started our cheering team back. Rachel, I don't know her last name. Yeah. So she runs it, and I reached out to her because when we had a team before, they did like volunteered at the home varsity wrestling tournament.
Cool.
She had girls there the entire day, and they ran the entire concession stand for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so she's very into like getting her girls involved in those things. So if you had a tournament, if you reached out to her, I would guarantee that she will have
Yeah, Rachel's
7, 8, 10. Where they have 20 kids on their team right now. They're all day long to help you.
They also, the other coaches at the high school level, right? I'd love to see our high school softball girls at that tournament over the weekend, either selling the sessions or helping out or doing
Yeah.
something
And I
with
think
it.
they would. I just got to figure
Yeah.
out, make that bridge, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just a general statement. And adult or senior activity, Liz, you kind of mentioned something a little bit. I know we realize we still have 2.5 months of winter.
Yeah, I had thought about doing something because we had, just with the fundraising and all the donations that we've had, the town gives a lot of money, like just businesses in general. And we serve the kids, but we need to do something. It's not just kids. So I had thought the idea of having like a bingo night for our adult population. And I haven't done anything with it yet, but it's in my brain, and I am going to reach out to it, do something. I was thinking like end of March, like really nothing is going on. It's been a long winter, kind of.
Are you
And
thinking a one-night event or
I'm thinking like a one-night.
weekly or bi-weekly thing or something?
Did
I
you
was
know
thinking,
Jess runs bingo?
huh? Do you?
She never goes back.
So, anywho, I was thinking about for these are just things going through my head. I don't know what's appropriate and what's not appropriate as far as like maybe using the Elks as a host site. It was you that said Kiwanis, so I was going to reach out to Jim because they hosted
Yeah.
down at the
They always
used
host
to
the
host
Egg
it down
Festival.
at the Egg Festival.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's appropriate or not to have like a cash bar there if it's an adult thing where it's rec. I have no idea.
Open it up.
Open bar, probably not. But I
Over my bingo, I like it.
I
I'll be there with my dabbers.
So does MCI do this for the community or the
No,
students?
So we have duty weeks 4 times a year where we have to offer on-campus and off-campus activities for primarily the residential students. And every time that we have the opportunity to let our day students do it, we open it to them as well. So bingo is open to all MCI students, not just the residential, and anyone in the MCI community. So the kids can actually bring their parents and like little brothers and sisters and
Okay.
stuff too. But
We're doing something like this
usually
when you
not
take away from
community.
what you do.
No, not at all.
And it wouldn't be anything that actually, in my eyes, it wouldn't be anything to make money. It would be a service to offer. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. So I have to figure out how
Yeah.
that works. Like because you want
How
to
the
go to
bingo
the
runs,
prize
pay
money.
per card, and then
Yeah, I
person
think
gets
you
bingo.
We don't
cards.
charge any, well, because it's an offering, an
Right.
activity to offer to keep them entertained on the weekends.
Yeah.
So they
So what
don't
are the
pay
prizes?
anything and they get,
What are the prizes?
weirdly enough, the kids like plants and blankets. That's what they want every time. They go, they want plants, blankets, and then they get like big bags of Swedish fish and they're happy.
Yes.
We're talking teenagers, not.
Right.
So I was
So we go traditional bingo.
I would think I was in my brain. I was thinking traditional bingo, like you win monies depending on whatever, and
You
even
pay
if you didn't.
$1 a card or whatever.
Yeah,
it
and
is.
even if it was like there's no entry fee and maybe a minimal thing like minimal like $1 card or something like I don't know something that wouldn't be wouldn't limit people
Yeah.
from playing. I was just thinking like we could have it be have some hors d'oeuvres there that people made or whatever. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
it's in my brain,
Yeah.
so I'll hash out some ideas and then reach out and see. But I think it would be good to offer something like that. Maybe the Elks would donate the hall, is what I'm hoping.
Yeah. I mean, on the back wall of the Elks, there's that big bingo light, right?
Right.
So I don't know. Kiwanis must have their own bingo because
I'll reach out to my.
So how would you focus who you're inviting?
It would make it like 21 and older, or something. Like it would not be geared towards kids. So
It
if
would
they're
have
21
to
and older,
be, right, how old do you have to be to gamble?
18.
You need a license, like is there any like license you need to host that?
I don't know.
that's what we
That's
have to
what
have Jim.
I'll ask all those questions.
Right.
Yeah.
We could, I mean,
Maybe if you charge someone, maybe there's something like if you charge someone a card, then there's a liability or
Right.
whatever. But
if there's no bar, I mean,
Right.
you could probably do it
Is it
at
in?
Warsaw.
right.
That would be easy.
If it's portable, yeah, you could use one of the schools if we can't get the Elks or something like
Yeah,
that.
Right.
do it in the cafeteria and the tables are already down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably can't set up a bar.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really care about that. I just thought if it's at the Elks, I don't know.
Yeah,
People could walk from the little housing development there by the Pennywise and
Yep.
come play for a night.
Yep.
that'd be
Oh, I
fun.
love it.
I'd go.
Another, I think an activity that might be kind of not down that road, but more for the older people. I did, for NHS, we did a paint night as a fundraiser. And the people, like we paid $25 We got $5 profit, and then she got 20. So we didn't make a lot of money off of it, but it was really fun. We did we had 30 people came, I think 35 people, and my kids picked what they wanted for a canvas. So it was like a snowman with a lantern, and it was mostly parents actually that did it.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. So we had a lot of parents with their daughter or son, and I think that was really fun. And it was a girl out of Augusta.
So we're gonna take Jess's ideas that she's done at MCI, and we're just gonna replicate
Right,
it
right,
at
right.
direct level. I think Sam
Bartlett.
There's a few people around here that do it, yeah. Another thing too would be kind of fun to have would be like an adult dance.
I just said sock hop or something, whatever, like an old timey dance, like an old school prom.
We did that one time, and it was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like I can't even remember. It was like $5 prom. Yeah, you couldn't spend more than
Was this
$5.
trainees?
Yes.
Yeah, I was there. I wore red shoulder pads.
Looking good. It was fun, but you couldn't spend more than $5 on your outfit.
Yeah. Taffeta. You can get a lot of taffeta for $5.
I think we'd make a good more daily news on
I
that.
think that would be hilarious and fun. I think, like,
I would need a cash bar.
Right?
if you're trying to that older crowd, like, I think I don't know, maybe that's that, like a true, like, sock hop thing that they call them, like, it's 50s and 60s music,
Full on
it's
Yeah.
range all.
full on, like,
Yeah.
old school,
Yeah.
cheesy, tacky 60s, 50s decorations,
Grease.
and,
Yeah.
yeah, straight grease, footloose, whatever it might be.
I was even
Yes.
thinking like you do like
Dirty
a dance
Dancing?
of the
Yeah.
decades. Like 1 hour you play 50s, 60s, 1 hour you play
fun.
70s, 80s.
Dance to the decades or
Something like that. Like you break it up. So if you don't like the 90s, you can like peace out.
Yeah.
It's just 90s grunge.
Even like the old school movies, like put up maybe this summer do not an old, I don't know, a movie that would get the elderly community out. Go to, well, like,
That's what I was going to say. I'm not really
I know.
Titanic.
And in my head, I'm thinking, have you guys seen the movie The Wedding Planner?
Oh yeah.
With J-Lo,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
J-Lo?
Was it
Oh,
J-Lo?
wedding planner.
Yeah.
Wedding singers. Well, I'm thinking.
You're right.
Also,
Yeah, they went to the park and they watched the movie. Like, we have everything we need to do that. And, I mean, we could have food. So maybe a summertime movie for, I want to call it an adult movie, but you know what I mean? Like, just
adult movie night in the park. Bring your kids.
open to all.
That would definitely make sense.
Like, it doesn't have to be, Warsaw has all that equipment too.
Yeah.
So, it's something that you don't have to wait to do in the park.
Oh, we did movie night in the park last year.
It was a big
And it was a big
success.
It was
success.
actually super fun.
Yeah.
And a ton of
Oh,
people
I
came.
missed that. So bummed.
It's just a matter
was fun.
of.
We ran out of popcorn.
We ran out
thought
of
we-
popcorn. It was super fun.
Yeah.
Just need to do it. I have a plan to do it again.
Yeah.
And I think The Sandlot's an older movie, which is what we showed. I think that is what got parents to want to go, which brought the kids out, right?
Right.
If it's a cartoon, right? But if it's something parents want to see, I think it's going to get the kids.
Yeah.
What do we do this year? Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
We should do that now, though, because that's winter.
Yeah.
Oh, like a winter movie.
Sorry, Jess. We'll do wrestling stuff. We'll do
Yes.
Vision
Oh,
Quest.
Mighty Ducks.
Vision
Yeah, I
Quest.
love that. I love it.
Miracle.
Mighty Ducks is good. My childhood favorite.
Okay, so a ton of good ideas. Like the bingo one would be a great one to figure out to start off with. I wouldn't do a cruise tournament just because I'll have to sign up and dominate everybody. So
Oh, there's too many rules for cricket anyway.
Yeah.
yeah, I expect it contentious. So that's awesome.
Well,
My wife already said she would help you with it because she thinks it's an awesome idea. So
I'll help.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Bingo or the movie? Or the
Bingo.
dance. Okay. Bingo.
but definitely movie, sock hops, dances, adult movies in the park, all that stuff.
Just got edited there.
Okay, spring rec. I know it's crazy, but it'll be the sign-ups will be starting. We started sign-ups in February last year. Anything February 4th, I think, maybe that's 2 years ago. I remember
I didn't start the
February
job until March, so.
4th. I started on February 4th
You
then.
did, yeah.
Because we needed to announce by like March 2nd how many teams we were going to have or whatever. Something like that. I don't know. But anyway, anything different we need to do this year, besides other than just with the cutoff date,
Sign-ups are good.
the league. Do we want to do the Newport League again for baseball, or do we want to try to get in like a Panquist style?
They do run a Panquist League. Panquist League sucks. Just don't communicate. That's like, it's just communication is always like last minute. Like,
I think it's like softball. They've been trying to hand it off. What's it? What's her name? It's
Sally. No, it's not Sally.
not Sally Panquist. It's
Jean's mom.
yeah. She's been trying to get out of it for years, and nobody will ever take it over. So. I don't know. The alternative is Fairfield wants us to go that way.
I think.
But I don't know how competitive
Here's
it
my
is.
so the Newport League, our 3-4, like that boys group dominates. Everybody else splits, right? Like our 5-6 boys, about 500, right? So they were in a good spot.
Yeah.
That group of boys crushed everybody, which is the same with Bengals.
Well, that group, that group,
Fifth and
it's fourth graders and fifth graders. That group will be split this year.
Right.
It was different in basketball too. They dominated basketball last year, and then this year it's
Oh,
not the case.
They
They're
have
missing Jake, Luke's out, he was a bunch.
And then
Oh,
there's a
right.
bunch of
Three,
kids.
four.
Split amongst two different teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3-4 boys are still dominating though.
Oh.
You haven't had a close game.
Yeah, it's a coaching.
So is the Fairfield League, is it just Fairfield still, or is it pulled in like Waterville and
Fairfield.
Waterville, Fairfield is out,
Yeah, no, I know
Yeah.
that, but
and then Waterville
But
is
so
different.
they just basically play each other, and I think there's like, there may be one other town they kind of loop in that has one team.
probably Albion or Clinton.
Well,
So I didn't get all the details, but
It's out, I came from Albion,
Oh.
Albion, Benton, Clinton, Fairfield,
It's the district.
yeah.
oh, it's the whole district. Yes,
Yeah.
the whole district plays together. Yeah, okay. So you know firsthand.
Well, before COVID, and then after COVID, I think their numbers have gone down also. So like
Yeah.
Albion doesn't.
I don't know as though we get like that group of 3-4 boys. Rick played their all-star team, and they were winning until very late in the game. So, and that was the all-stars out of 5 or 6 different teams. So
I would be curious to explore like becoming like a counterpin team or a little league.
it's a lot.
I know.
Way we can't play here.
Yeah.
Our field dimensions don't. No, we can't play here.
Yeah.
So
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's a big deal.
I don't know. It seems like that's the level up, right? Is to do one of those.
Yeah, we can play other counterpin teams like scrimmages and stuff. You can't play. You can't play little league teams.
Right.
Like certified little league
Teams
teams.
you gotta beat. I would also wouldn't hate seeing a world where we had our own town league again, right? Where we had 4 teams that we played. I don't know those numbers. So I guess my answer is I don't know.
Anyway, when I went through, it was four teams. Softball was the same way. 4 teams of like 11 or 12 kids, right from right down.
I think,
But it was 3, 4, 5, 6.
right. Well, I remember trying out for Little League. I want to say second grade is when I tried out for Little League. 'Cause
They had minors when you were came
Well,
through.
but you would we would go to the Little League tryout as a second grader. Nobody made it. Like maybe one kid would make it, and then you play minor league or farm league or whatever.
Right. But if we did that, we wouldn't have enough kids.
Right. Well, that's the because we don't have enough for a minor league animated. Like so, I don't know. I guess my inclination right now is to stay in the Saskatoon League.
For baseball,
It's my leaning. Right.
just because the paint was
I don't know.
baseball is such a
I think
struggle.
we would if we're down. I think we'd also dominate the Penguins League. Like I think that's. I mean, I think it would be the same.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to be. I think actually Newport's probably going to be more competitive,
Oh, I'm sure they are.
right?
Yeah.
And I mean, all our games are close, right? And I guess I don't. Yeah, I don't want to burn that bridge unless there's a clear better option.
I mean, some parents have kind of complained about why we just play Newport 7 times and then.
Well, what you get-
We played St. Albans, we played Corinna,
Yeah.
we played Guilford. It
Oh,
was
we played-
painful.
Guilford was a separate game that we set up, but
Well, it was painful. I mean,
Oh, we
But-
did.
Yeah.
It wasn't
The
just.
kids couldn't even like.
Well, they ended up like half the teams collapsed halfway through the year.
Well,
and
so
then
when you-
absorbed into Newport.
Yeah, there are a bunch of towns. I feel like I don't know. I feel like Etna was one. Like I feel like there was a bunch of towns at the meeting. Not everybody showed up to the team. What we got to get Gene to do is just name his 3 different Newport teams different things, so it doesn't feel like you're playing the same team 3 times.
Yeah.
Right. Or the Rams, Bulldozers, whatever you want to call them. Right.
I mean, that's the same thing we drove. We played other Pittsfield teams.
But you just call them something other than Newport 1, 2, 3. Like I think that's.
So is there a Corinna team on top of the Newport teams? There used to be for the
So,
boys
yeah.
a Corinna team, 2 Newport teams, and so it didn't seem when Jack was playing Little, it didn't seem like we were playing Newport all the time.
I was thinking of 2 years ago because it was just Newport 2
Right.
years ago.
I think that was a COVID
coming out of
thing.
COVID because it just everybody went to Newport.
And I think
Right.
it is all these different towns trying to play together that are
Right.
relatively close. It's just not everybody's got a team to play. And the Newport ones are really the only ones that are even close to competing with us yet.
A couple of those guys just really need to combine
Right.
because they don't have kids. We got to send kids on their team. And
Yeah.
Right.
kind of stuff. So, I know we run out of time. I know. Yeah, stay the course, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna change everything for one group of
Unless
kids.
there's a clear, better option. I mean, stick with it for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spring rec prep. I think equipment-wise, we got everything we need except our normal
Maybe some more baseball.
baseballs, softballs,
Yeah.
the normal supplies.
Yeah. We have a million softball.
And do we have I know that last year, keys for the coach, well, that's a new issue, but when you guys get talking about coaches making sure they.
We got a new shed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we get some smaller helmets?
Yeah.
Just the little girls need a couple
Yeah.
small helmets on each team.
There's some in-
Yeah. Just in
Good.
case they
Good.
can't get their own.
And I don't know what softball's going to do as far as split up. Like it's been 4 through 6. I don't know if they're going to stick with that.
I think that's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please vote for that.
Yeah.
Do we need to
They-
sign up for that tournament that you guys hosted again? Do we need to do that ASAP?
It will be in the league meeting.
So when we go to the league meeting,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's good.
Our girls don't get anything out of Farm League.
Right.
So I think this is so much better.
Keep it.
Every other team in the league thought the same thing. Like have them play softball right out of the gate.
And I like having like having 2 of those teams last year was
Yeah, it was
cool,
awesome.
'cause they could play. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought last year was super fun. Projects. That was the next thing. Was there anything else before we done? Because we can talk about projects later.
No. Okay.
Projects for 23. We got some stuff budgeted. We got some money for capital improvement budgeted for Hathorne Park for lighting at the gazebo area, which is, I'll run with that. It's gonna take some design, some electrical services, some, all kinds of shit. So, but I'll run with it, try to get the guys over Chimbrow. But it's a big project. But we do have money for that. We have money for fencing.
Did you
We
put
saw-
the gate up there?
You guys have seen the gate?
Yeah, I saw it. I noticed it today.
Yeah, they did it for winter.
Yeah.
So there's a big 14-foot, big like barrel hinged gate. The doors to the dugouts have been replaced, and I think they were supposed to go around and basically fix the bottom of all the fencing where it was all curled out and stuff. They're cutting it back and kind of rethreading it. They also gave us pricing for. We want to get that done so we can put a lock on it before spring, and it's all like soupy. We've already got a nice deep bike tire going all the way around the baseball field and a bunch of footprints and stuff. So we're going to put locks on those and lock them until it's dry enough to go on.
Hang out on the dugout with a paintball gun.
Yeah. So that's good. We got that, but she already did all the square footages for like the whole outfield and some of the side if we want to replace some of that fencing. And we did get some money in there for that. Some of it's okay, like where the dugouts are and up one side. Up the left-hand side is like rusted all to hell and bowed way out. And we can live with it, but if we're putting money into making our facilities better, that's one of the few facilities we own. That
It was in the budget, right?
we had some money in the budget for it. We had some money in the budget that's for more repairs in the hut too. In particular, there's something that roll-up door to the supply shed just falls on people and it pops out. We gotta get the door replaced. A little bit of bathroom work. There's just some miscellaneous stuff to do up there.
I vote that we put a ceiling above the bathroom Because I've been actually, before I got here, to spend an hour washing everything that I picked out of the hut the other day because it's just an inch and a half of dust and crap on everything that, because we're going to use it for storage inevitably, and everything gets filthy in there. There's no ceilings. I don't know how
Ceiling
expensive
over the
that would be.
bathroom?
Huh?
See, like over the bathroom?
I don't know. I don't know how the dirt gets in that hut. Like, I think,
It's all vented all along the ridge. It's where all the sunlight comes up through it.
so
So it just stirs up and goes up in there.
however we need to, like, stop it. Shut it down. Put some
Definitely
cracks,
some stuff we do.
Flex Seal, I don't care, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's just nasty. It just makes everything in there so much dirtier. Every time you go in there, it's like an inch of
It's
dirt
just
on
a cake
everything.
of, yeah.
So before I have to go get Molly. So we started this committee about 3 years ago, is that right? So I don't think we've gone through and done an actual walkthrough of the other little teensy parks in a while. And I know, I can't remember who it was that came and complained about like a sign not being put up, or it might be worth doing another little walkthrough just to see what little miscellaneous things in those little parks need, so that we don't get community members that are
Yeah.
upset.
We've been fortunate enough to have the garden club really take care of it for the most part, but
Right.
there are a few things. We walked through Hathorne being the biggest one.
Right.
I don't know if you and Lindsay were going to look at
At the Pinnacle.
The Pinnacle. I don't
But
know if we did or not, but
the Pinnacle's a
It's a-
tricky
it's a weird one.
situation. Right. So
and are they going to finish painting that? By the way, it's like half painted.
I haven't been to a meeting yet, but anyway, but those little ones mean stuff to like specific groups of people, and I would hate to see like Fender Park and like if
Memorial Park and all.
there's a little one that's next to Mill Pond that just has like a picnic table on it. And so if all we needed to do was put a new plank on a bench, you know what I mean? It's so simple, and it would keep those people happy.
It's a great one.
So I think just like doing our due diligence with those other little parks just to make sure.
Like a spring inspection.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it wouldn't be a lot of money because they're teensy little parks.
Yep. We have some money for like rec director, assistant rec director budgets, and the assistant rec director in particular, we end up with surplus usually. That's something you could take and potentially like hire a high school kid or something to do summer work. If the supervision works and Jake's up for
I just
it.
got to supervise. High school kid, I feel like I have to go and supervise and do it
Right.
with them, so I might as well do it myself. You know what I'm saying?
All right, fine.
Well, then, like, it's like the pick. No, like the pick like that's where I'm running to currently.
All right, yeah, that makes sense.
Like,
Yeah.
I kind of handle it. It'd be great to have an assistant that can be like, go fix the table, you know how to do it. I don't have to teach you how.
Even better.
Where does the town facilities come in too on that? Did they not?
It's a super gray area.
Right.
Straightening up a trash can or replacing planks on a park bench probably ranks really low with Public Works. Rightfully so.
I mean, they're pretty busy at the dump.
Right. Yeah.
But if we put in a work order for it,
Right.
they'll do it. It's just, I think
Yep.
in the past, what they wanted is, this is what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And-
We have that capital improvements list.
Right. But we haven't gone through the check-in.
Well, she pushed it back and wants estimates and.
Right.
I mean, that is.
I mean,
I apologize. I feel
No,
bad.
that's okay.
Sorry.
I mean, if it's not major or something, I feel like we're a rec department of 8 people. We can't be doing maintenance on.
Well, what's
on
that? I don't
blocks.
even know what a work order. Like, there's a work order.
Yeah.
Like, I
I don't know what she's talking about.
Oh, okay.
I email people and say, hey, can you help us out with this if that's
Right.
a work order? Maybe there's something more formal we're supposed to be doing. I don't know. Like when when the door got kicked in and they need to replace that, up at a couple of years ago, I just got an email and said, we got to replace this door. And when can you guys get to it?
Donnie, I think, is pretty good about, if you reach out to him, I think he'll do what he can to help.
Yeah.
And he's in the
Especially
highway
stuff.
department now.
Especially stuff like that where he knows, like, we have a bunch of valuable things in there and
Right.
want to secure it up. Like that overhead door, he was going to get on it and he still has, right? They got bugged up, but like that's going to hurt a kid because there's little nails that come out of it. Every time I put it up, the plant falls out and hits Jake more in the head or
Right.
whatever else.
Yeah, it's kind of a disaster.
So, but I think we could help out just, or what am I talking about, just walking around and checking the parks and stuff like that. take your kids on a walk this summer to the parks and say, we're going to play at the park.
What are we checking?
I think it's
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 just like the
literally like,
benches and
is
other
the-
signs that are.
yeah, walking by the park today,
Yeah.
is the sign falling down, or
Oh.
is the bench sunk into the ground, or a plank's popped off, or
Is there a huge crater in the walkway that someone's going to break their ankle on, or just
yeah, like she said, once every few years or something like that. It should be on Public Works like way back. I said we were going to work on a maintenance plan
Right.
and preventive maintenance and spring like annual checklists and all that stuff for all the parks. And I've started it. It's there. It's been sitting there stagnant for like 3 years. So, it's a good thing we can work on it come spring.
I think it'll be easy.
Pick a day, just go for a walk.
It would be cool. I mean, seeing like community service, like the high school does a community service day, right? We could get middle school kids involved. We can just raking leaves and picking stuff up.
Break these, pick
I mean,
stuff
if
up.
we could, I don't know, it'd be cool to think of a way to engage the kids in actually cleaning up some of the parks too.
Absolutely.
Just have to figure out a list of things for them to do.
Yeah, we can visit in the spring and before the end of the year, like, come May time frame or something like that.
Yeah, and we have one the last day of school.
Last day of school, right? Is what I was thinking.
And we're always looking for things to do.
Yeah.
We may send a group of 14 of us to one house to rake 4 leaves.
Yeah, you guys haven't been to my house in 1 year.
But yeah, I think by that time, it's difficult with that time of year is we want to have
You're all set up.
Parks are already cleaned up, because baseball's already done, you know? I think that's what I ran into last year. I wanted to do something with middle school kids, but we'd already done it.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a list, the NHS group that Lincoln and I are both in charge of that,
Yeah.
and they want to do like a town cleanup, like you said, we do it at the end of the year. So an earlier spring town cleanup and kind of helping out as our bigger spring activities.
Yeah.
So if you had a list of smaller things that we could do
That
to
would be
help
cheap.
get them set up, they would jump all over
That
that.
would be cool. Yeah, we
And
just
we
gotta
could
figure out
definitely
what it
organize. That would be easy, actually.
is. Cool.
Any other projects we need to plan for this spring, summer? So I'll
Probably.
start going out to like bids right now. Because
I don't know. I don't think so.
that's, I look back at some of the lighting and any fencing and fixing those buildings
Yeah,
is
half of the park.
probably
That's the stuff.
pretty high up there. We've got a shed down there and that's good.
porta potty.
Okay, those are just phone calls.
Yeah. Light for the basketball court.
Yeah.
That will go in with the lighting thing.
Just get lines in the basketball court too.
It was, light and lights. Yeah. Absolutely. They have the stenciling for it.
Is there a town ordinance or anything that would prevent us from having lights on the basketball court
So,
after a certain time?
They
They used to be
Uh,
there. They changed poles and never put it back up. What I was told, I don't know this for a fact, our current mayor lived adjacent to it and didn't like the light shining in his windows and complained, so they didn't put the light back up.
Well,
That may still be the case, but I would push them. We put the lights up and we'll buy some blackout drapes if we have to.
or there's a time at 9 o'clock it has to go
Or
on.
yeah, like a timer
Is
shuts
that-
out like that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like noise ordinance, it's
Right,
light ordinance.
right, exactly, yeah.
The street lights stay on at night. So, but I think that'd be a great thing for the kids. They want to stay and play just as long as they can.
Yeah.
Keeps them from hanging on the tracks or wherever else they can mess around.
Yeah. Well, the kids they use those hoops pretty frequently.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great thing to do something. Have we got anything else?
I wanted to just, I don't know if, I guess just get feedback from Jake on how things are going. You've been doing this for almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also the assistant rec director, that's going okay, or do we want to revisit that?
Things are going well. It's right now. It's kind of like we're hitting a lull, right? Because basketball is kind of phasing out, wrestling starting up, skating's phasing out, but those are pretty self-sufficient, right? St. John runs it, Lindsay runs it, it works. Yeah, I think it's good. It's a lot, right? It's a lot. I think mostly just communicating with people. The rec directors, I think, has been the challenge in basketball. Fall was probably the craziest of the. Thus far, fall has been the craziest.
Just because of the number of activities
the
going on.
number of activities and the amount of needs, and then some of like the field active schedule I have to build on my own, right? It's not like it's, so fall was the hardest.
We need an assistant rec director that can take a sport or two sports.
Be able to give a project to,
Yeah,
right?
like, I need you to facilitate this.
Cody does a good job with like specific things and specific tasks, and I tell him exactly what to do. But as far as like run with this, he's not there yet. It'd be helpful to have somebody that could do that. So like I can bring Cody. Cody will be Saturday's basketball games. He'll run the clock. He can officiate. Those are clear tasks he knows how to do. If I was to say I'm not going to be there on Saturday, can you take it? I wouldn't do that.
Right, I'm looking for, yeah, and I don't want to see you get burned out to the point where you feel like you don't have anyone to be able to do that full, because that's the goal of someone. I mean, yes, it's nice to have someone who is a doer and who you can give tasks to, but if you think of anyone that you think might be someone who you can.
Yeah, it's figured out. Like there's a couple. I mean, I think Doug Colson would be super helpful. He's a self-starter to a degree and figures stuff out. Harvey would be another one. Harvey Chesley, just a busy guy, right? It's we could put the asks out. I don't know.
Yeah, just thought, I think we need to, something we need to keep reassessing.
Yeah. I mean, lines on a baseball field. Like I need to do those. I can't. Like Cody will try, but
Yeah, like that's something that you should not have to do. We should have
that's right.
that's able to go out early and line the fields.
Now, is that something that you can hire someone like Doug? If you said that there's still money left from the assistant director line,
It would be like, yeah, it would.
like just an hourly, kind of like an official.
So that's-
give them $25 for that.
Yeah, so this like all of them, right? It's really just ultimately a pool of money. It's not like these monies can only be used for Jake and these can only be used for Cody. But that money can be, if you want to have two Codys
Yeah,
with
that's
different
what
skill
I'm saying.
sets,
Yeah.
that money can pay for a second Cody, right?
Well, that's-
They're hourly employees and say, Cody, you're doing some officiating this spring and it's only a couple hours a week and we're going to use some money for person XYZ that they're going to coordinate softball. And they're going to make sure the fields are lined and the officials are lined up.
I guess the tricky thing with it is there would be weeks where they wouldn't have anything, right?
And that's
So they-
part of the game, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's where someone like inspecting the parks and doing some of that kind of stuff could also lay in where just
And I can keep
you
it
need
busy in
the
summer.
hands-on type person, right?
Yeah, I keep it busy in summer.
Yeah.
Like Ethan Varney is great for the pool because I can trust Ethan is under control.
Did he commit for this
Yeah,
summer?
well, he's committed. He's in college, so commitments change. But but he said he's down to do it again. But it's not like somebody like Ethan does it. Like
Right.
he can build a schedule. He can take care of stuff. If he needs to call somebody and figure it out, he'll call somebody and figure it out. And then when he needs me, he gets me. Right? But it's
It'd be great to find. You even you think about somebody at the other end of the spectrum, right? You take a Pete Snow type person,
yeah.
right?
Who's more qualified to do it than I am, but doesn't want to. So
Right, I'm saying like that type. Like I'm retired, but I'd love to be around and help out. And
yeah.
Can we, the fields are going to, we need someone to help you this spring with the fields.
I think getting the fields line in those because there's usually just it's not the amount, it's just the time crunch to do it. Like I think once the season starts, I've really got from 4 to 7 o'clock to get it all done, right? As far as like if it's anything I need to do, if it's a phone call, if it's anything like that, I don't feel comfortable calling parents after 7, right? And I get out of school at 3, so it's all going to happen in that window of time.
Is Cody willing to do it if you show him how to do it?
Show which part?
Line
Yes,
up the
he is
fields.
willing. He is willing to do it if I show him how to do it. Quality control is my concern.
Is there a better setup or rig that we can purchase that helps control those boxes?
Well, so I'm not the greatest at line. Are we talking about line field right
Yes.
now? Yeah.
Like, is it a matter of practice?
I think it's a matter of just getting better at it, and it's detail, right? Like you've got to run the line. Sometimes he just wouldn't run the line.
Free-handed?
Free-handed. And it's like this. So
It's like not starting the clock, not adding the bucket the other day at the game.
well, it's
He's like, oh, they're winning by now. If he was texted and didn't have, he's like, look at the score.
so it's yeah.
Yeah.
It's more, and I think that's a maturity thing, right? Like, in order to do this well, let's slow down, let's take our time, let's make the line. You know,
Like, yeah.
he knows those things. He's not quite.
Humping, I think, is going to be an issue again, too. Humping behind the plate, I think that needs to, my own personal opinion, that needs to get.
Needs to be behind the plate. We can do that. The league as a whole, Gene isn't all about that.
Is it or is?
Isn't, right?
They won't behind the mound.
Gene said my umps will be behind the mound. I think it was Gene.
Are you getting
Yeah.
people irritated with that?
I think so. I think it's annoying, personally. I mean, when you ump a game, you get behind the plate, and we stopped it because of COVID. COVID's not an issue anymore. So get back behind the plate and teach the kids how to play the game the way it's supposed to be taught.
Right, but remember we have one up.
No, we don't. We have two.
No, I had 2 in most games.
We have a first base ump and someone who stands behind the pitcher instead of standing behind the plate.
Okay. I was saying one up. Maybe.
I just think that's my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
I'm on my soapbox,
Yeah.
but coming
It
from
is,
spring, I think
having done umping behind the plate, it is harder and hotter, and you gotta go with your gear on, you're squatted down. Would it make it harder to get umps? We have a hard enough time getting umps. If they gotta squat behind the plate, if you hit my balls, and
How did the high school kids last year, like having the high school kids do it again, is that okay? Because I can make them do whatever I want, right? Like they can get down on the plate. And so the umps we had Cole do some, Kyle did some.
I don't foresee them being comfortable behind the plate,
Yeah.
like
so,
confident.
So I think it's building that. I think we had a bunch of these, like Skylar did some games.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Cozy.
I don't. You think it's more? I don't think it's any more intimidating. Well,
I don't think-
you got the fans like right behind your back, so it might be.
I don't
know.
know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We protected it pretty good, I think, too.
I think they're okay behind the plate. I mostly didn't care. So
I guess
tell
it's just
them what to do.
if Gene as a league doesn't, but I don't understand that concept.
Well, I think maybe it was the softball. I can't remember.
Gene only has one person doing
Yeah,
this.
and are they behind the plate?
No, they're behind the mound. And I think it's because they have all the bases and they call balls and strikes.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably part of it.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier
But
to
I
get
think-
behind the mound.
But I think some of our softball games are done the same way. With the away split. Maybe it was Mike Martin and Dexter that made that statement.
I would say we bring it up at the league meeting and just probably be consistent with the
I
league.
think we can do whatever we want to do.
Yeah, or just bring it up. If no one else is going to do it, that's fine. I just think it's something to.
I wouldn't mind. Might sound great, but like getting like a legit ump for $35 to come and do the game solo. I mean, I can pay 2 umps, right? A couple high school kids, or I can pay 1 real ump to do the game and say,
You can pay him $35, sure.
well, maybe 40, right? But instead of paying
It's less than 50 or 40.
You
It's
see what
the
I'm saying?
same or less.
right, I'm paying 2 kids $70 to do a game, or 1 person $40-$50 to do a game,
Hell yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't. I agree because I think having the ump who was out in the field, the base ump or whatever.
They weren't super necessary.
And I don't
Yeah.
really ever. I don't
I
really
think it-
recall ever coming.
It
from
was
that.
more there for like moral support
Exactly.
because they're teenagers.
Right, like
Right.
the high school kids are more like when I put 1 up on a game, and then they'd send me texts, kind of freaking out, like I don't want to do this by myself, right? So it's part of keeping them.
Right.
And we get back to the home coaches too, because like if we did that again,
Yeah.
these are our kids here too.
Some of the coaches did get pretty fired up. And
One of the away coaches was all over Dom one time. We kind of had to
yeah,
temper it down a little bit.
And I think it goes to having a meeting prior to, like if you're interested in upping, you sign up and come to the clinic, and these are the expectations as far as like, what
Yeah.
based on grade level or ability level, these are the calls you kind of should be making.
basketball's been great
Yeah.
because it's Harvey and Josh every game.
Yep.
And Harvey's board official, right? And then Josh obviously knows basketball, and they're adults, and if there's people mouthing off in the crowd, they tell them to stuff it, and more gently than that. But
Right.
No, not more gently than
for Josh,
not with Josh.
but it's like that. I think I'd like to see that. I think I'd like to see that for baseball too, because I think it's a similar. The high school kids they're willing, which is what makes it work. they're willing, right? And I think softball is maybe even a little bit easier because the baseball games, people get a little intense. Which is like being 16 years old on a baseball field with 40-year-olds yelling at you from the sidelines. I get it, right?
Nothing brings the worst out of grown men than youth sports.
I get it. So if we could find like legit umps, like a legit ump
All for that.
to do our baseball games.
My neighbor Bill Clark claims he still umps all the time.
I asked Bill to do some games, and he said no. So
He says he still umps college games. He still umps 40 to 50 games a year. He
I
said.
tried to get him to do the playoff thing. Remember?
A little too hot though.
What? No, he committed somewhere else.
No.
So I had him. He said yes, and then he called me a couple days later. I got some bad news. Right?
I'm not bringing any more cookies over on you if he doesn't stay on our games.
Pretty sure he was passed out.
Yeah, you would.
But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe let me see if I can find like a couple. I think Harvey used to umpire too. I think he said no to umping last year.
He has a landscaping business, right?
That's what it is.
Yeah,
Right,
so
it's
the
spring
summer,
time,
like
summer.
he's super slow in the winter, and then the summer he ramps up.
But if I can find a couple guys that would do our games on the weekends.
Just my 2 cents, just a thought. I don't know.
It's legit.
It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff.
We're selling concessions on Saturday, so if anyone's bored,
Do you need help selling concessions?
I'm going to say, I don't know right now, maybe clean up at the end of the day. I'll text you.
Okay.
Do you have
Because I
volunteers?
have no idea. I didn't even ask. Natalia's going to help. I'm sure there'll be parents there that I can.
Yeah.
I'm planning on being there all day.
I'll be there all day.
Yeah, I don't know how busy it's going to be, so I'm just going to wing it. And
Okay.
if I need help, I will go into the crowd and say, I need help.
I'll be there too.
Yeah, I don't.
And
I'll be there.
I don't know.
Italian Lane will be there.
Yeah, Natalia's going to be there. Luke's going to be with me. He can help me.
Yeah.
And if I need, there'll be parents around.
Well, I've just been collecting emails.
Yeah, I didn't even want to do a sign up and stuff. I just was because I don't know how. I don't know. I'm gonna wing it. I do need you to bring me the popcorn machine though.
Right. That's easy.
I'm gonna go. I'll grab the soda and stuff. I went to BJ's
And I
today.
have a snow day tomorrow, so.
Oh, you already decided on this?
The dance was canceled, so
Yeah.
if you're
My prediction, so yes.
It's a yes.
Yeah,
99% of
I've only been wrong once in the last 7 years.
Talk about it.
And I was wrong by, I said it would be an hour delay and it was 2 hours. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right. You have it.
Yeah, I will be in
You need the
tears
pizza warmer
tomorrow
too,
if I have to go to work. What?
You need the pizza warmer too?
nope.
Pizza warmer's already over there.
Is it all right? I'm not doing pizza. If you show up with pizza,
Liz does not think pizza's a good one. I think it's a great one.
Steamer's
I don't
already.
want to deal with pizza. I'm doing friggin' popcorn and hot dogs.
That's pretty good.
And I
So
went to
breakfast
BJ's.
pizza.
I went to BJ's today, and my cart was like around this over.
So you bought stuff already. Yeah.
I did. It's good.
So
I
we've
didn't-
got money in the cash box. We'll just reimburse.
Yeah, and does anyone have like a cash envelope? Because if do we have anyone to do admissions?
I know what you mean.
Okay.
All right, so I've got.
I have
somebody in Josh.
a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I just need it. Someone needs an envelope maybe for admissions, so I can have the cash
I have
box.
them in my garage. I just got to dump sockets out of them, and we can use them.
Yeah.
They're great.
And what else? The cooler. You're gonna grab the cooler.
Right, cooler, popcorn machine.
Yep. And I think that's all. Cooler, popcorn machine, and money.
Awesome.
What time are you gonna be there?
So Dover reached out and wanted to try and reschedule a game with Central that they missed. I haven't responded yet. But if I did reschedule that, I'd do that at 8 a.m.
Okay.
My dilemma with them rescheduling a game is that I'm paying for it. I'm paying Harvey
Right.
to come ref the game. I'm getting there early. Cody's doing the clock.
Can't they reschedule it at their facility?
Dover doesn't go out of their way to help us. They don't even return my emails.
It's not Tim reaching out, it's the coach. So, but I also understand the play. The schedule's the way it is. So part of me feels like, all right, so I haven't decided yet.
Right. The admission will make up more than paying the officials.
Except they're both already coming that day. So all the parents come from Dover. I don't make them pay twice.
Oh, they're both already there.
They're already there. That's why they want to
Tell them it's great. You all got to make double when you show up.
Well, that's the like they're
Buy a hot dog.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, they'll get hungry the longer they're there.
yeah. So I will probably be there at 7. But I wouldn't worry about being set up for that first game.
Okay.
If we were setting up while that first game is being played, I think we're fine. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll probably be there early too.
I'll get there.
Can we go in tomorrow evening and
Oh,
just
wait,
set up
if
tables?
there's no school tomorrow, there's no
I was gonna say,
day,
if there's no dance, maybe tomorrow
we can
night.
just do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, no school. You can do anything.
Right.
I have to work. Some of us.
Yeah.
It's my first day back in 11 days. I can't call out.
Oh,
I got COVID.
Yeah, I got COVID again.
Oh, I fell over again.
when I hear about bingo, I can help with
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll throw out some ideas and I'll reach out to a couple of people. And
All right, well, thank you guys.
Thanks for being
Thanks
here.
for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me
Yeah.
join.
If you found this an exhilarating way to spend your evenings and you're interested in coming to more,
Just so you know,
Let me
I
know,
don't think
'cause
we've
we'd love to
met
have
in
you
more
on
than
the
6
committee.
months, like in here.
what's that?
We haven't met in like.
It's been, it was
been
towards
on
the,
Zoom
towards
for a
the,
couple times.
I think towards the end of football we met once. I think.
Here though?
I'm going
No,
to
it's
look
in-
at the banners. Are they still doing
It's not that
Down.
often.
Down.
It's not monthly.
Yeah.
I said it like every Saturday, and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot the band.
Remind me.
I gotta, well, I was gonna grab the boys and have us all go run.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I gotta think about it.
Busy. All right.
Yeah, it's on the list. All right, thank you guys.
Sounds good. Thank you. So yeah, let me know tomorrow. We'll touch base with me. And I have everything in the basement.
Sweet.
It's like, is all that stuff else? I'm like, nope. You didn't buy any South Park for me? Nope.
He's at home right now.
Yeah, I know. Well, I did give them a thing of Starburst because they were all